So I've often heard of the term, the entrepreneurial bug has bit me. This lady I'm about to have a conversation with has actually been ravaged by it. She is Nobandla Gobodo, MD of SANGE SA. She's a woman I have on the inspirational hot seat today, and she will be telling us about her journey in entrepreneurship. Please don't go anywhere. My name is Linda Maponyane, and this is Basadi Moshomong. And you know the drill. When I make a promise, I keep it. They're lovely, they're amazing, they're inspirational. Nobandla Gobodo is sitting right next to me, and I don't want to waste your time any further because I'm sure you want to hear what she has to say. Drum roll. I don't know why I did that, but anyway, Nobandla, thank you so much for opening your doors, your offices, your home, your 8 to 5 home to us, and have us come and have this conversation with you.
Thank you so much. I loved that intro, so exciting.
You know, usually when people are introducing me, after they introduce, I'm like, were they talking about me? And I think we often don't sit and look at our own journeys and pat ourselves on the shoulders as often as we should, and when you get an opportunity to be introduced, you then realize, hi man, you know, I'm doing this thing, man. I'm doing the things, and they're making the pots to happen. and so today I think it's one of the biggest honors for me to have an opportunity to sit with an amazing, I don't think people know how amazing you are. I know because I have had an opportunity to sit with you not once, not twice, but I think including telephone calls, maybe thrice or whatever.
Yes.
And in all those moments, I've picked up how much of a dynamic woman you are. And I think it's only befitting for me to crown you right now and just let you know that, girl, you inspire me. I want us to get into the conversation so that people don't say, you know, just tell us a bit about your background and who's Nobandla, where is she from, and yeah.
So Nobandla is originally from the Eastern Cape, in a town called Gobodo. A village called Maponyane, so very rural. Born there, bred there. Then when I was 5, so I lived there with my grandmother. She passed away when I was 5. I then moved to go to Cape Town to live with my parents. And it was quite a shocker, you know, moving to Cape Town, Khayelitsha Township. I come from a very rural village. And yeah, so Cape Town, went to school in Hout Bay, my primary school. High school, went to Camps Bay High. Had a short stint at UCT, but that's a story for another day.
You went in and you came out.
Hey, popping in. And then in between the pop-ins and doing other things, I started an events company called Ikapa Vanity. An informal events company, so not registered, but we had the opportunity to do quite a lot of work and amazing projects. Met some phenomenal artists along the way, worked with clubs, worked with a few event organizers and planners in the Western Cape and Cape Town. So that was my first company. Okay,
but I want to know, had you always known that you're going to go into business, or was it a boom and here you are?
I'm not sure. I think I had been exposed to business because my dad was an entrepreneur by heart, by nature, and he got me to start working from a young age. So I started working at the school tuck shop to make money. And from that money, it started paying for my tuck money weekly. It even paid for a trip when I got
your school, your actual school.
Yes, at
You
my
worked
actual
at
school. I worked at the tuck shop. And I used to save that money for if it's Civies Day, if there's a trip anywhere, my dad could see now I'm working, they don't need to pay for most
Pay your own
things.
trip, yeah.
Yeah, so I think it started there, and then I got used to earning, and I think it was also a sense of independence. If I wanted to buy certain things, I had my own money.
You didn't have to go ask.
Yes, so I think in a way, I knew that at some point I'll need to get into business, because even working full time, you'll find that you have to wait until the end of the month to get paid, and there's so much more I could be doing in between that.
Yeah. And look, they often say that when you work for yourself, payday is every day. I hear them say that. I'm waiting to get to that point where payday is every day. But anyway, so after you started your first company, the Ikapa Vanity, and you were doing the whole events and so forth, was it registered? Was it not? So you were...
This was an informal company. I didn't even have a bank account or anything. People paid me. Mostly at that time it was I get paid cash or into my then post bank account, which had no fees and so on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, then do you then open your second company immediately? How do you move into... Okay.
So while I was doing events, I then met my now husband, and life happened. Now I have a child.
Life happened.
And I needed to go and work. So I needed that sense of stability.
Yeah.
The type of business I was in was informal, but also it was unstable. It depended on what season it was. So when it's event season, such as summer season in Cape Town, then it picks up. In winter, it's dead.
Yeah.
And now I'm getting married, I'm pregnant, and I need more stability. So I then went and worked. So I had a bit of working in the contact center space, working for different call centers. Then from there I moved and got an opportunity to work in the banking space, but started out on contract working for another company. And I'd say this is where it started. So I was in the banking space for a solid 4 years, which is a lot. Felt like a lot. It felt like 11 years. And then in that 4 years, that's when I discovered a passion for training, which at the time wasn't sure what it was, but I really enjoyed it. I was a very enthusiastic student in class, ready to present, ready to answer questions, ready to do the assignments, whatever it is. And so my training career then started where there was an opportunity in the banking space for internal trainers and to be upskilled, to be certified and qualified trainers. So I applied and got the opportunity. So I was in that space now full on as a trainer for possibly 2.5 years in
within that banking sector.
Yes, in that banking sector. And then I decided to resign. When I moved into management, I thought, okay, 1 year in management is good enough. Events is calling me still. And I resigned and left the banking space and started another events company, now formal.
Now registered.
Now registered.
Now has a bank account.
Now has a bank account. So when I left banking, I thought that's what I'm going to do. And it was an exciting company, so this was my second company, but now I had this passion for training. So I remember I was at the Rand Easter show, managed to get funding to be one of the exhibitors there. So exciting. But every time people came to my stand, I was talking training.
But you are there as an events.
Yes, I'm there as the events company. I should be promoting the events company. And in my head, I am. But when people ask about me, then I talk training. Then while there, I met a lady who happened to be a communications manager for a big company in South Africa, and Then she said, how about you put together a program for us? And then I realized it's going to be odd to be invoicing or quoting them or even building this proposal under my then company was SANGE Event Concepts.
Yeah.
Let me create a division called SANGE SA.
Okay. So the program they were looking for was within which, what exactly were they looking for?
So it was a youth development program.
Since you were selling training at that event.
It had nothing to do with events at all. And it was a youth development program that I was going to put together, and this was during the time of Chelsea's Bring a Girl Child to Work Day. So it was a full-on program that I got to design, which would look at youth development. So I then had my division called SANGE SA, which ended up taking over my events business.
So SANGE SA then followed SANGE
Event Concepts. Yes, the department swallowed the company.
Hey! But I guess when destiny calls, Nobandla, you know, when sometimes we don't know where God is taking us, sometimes we don't know where destiny is calling us to. And while you are still trying to navigate yourself to where you want to go, destiny is like, okay, you are not sure where you want to go, let me show you where you should go, you know. Yeah, and then what then happens next?
And then oddly, I saw that, okay, this department is taking over. At that time, I didn't think to register SANGE SA as a separate company.
Okay.
Instead, I went and started another company that would offer training.
Okay.
Which that company was called Nobandla, and I used to get a lot of questions about it. Who's this man? Where are they from? It sounds like someone's name.
It does. A king.
Yes. So it was a Swahili name. I think I did a direct translation of Umeva Mhlope, which is my clan name. But Meva Mhlope is taken, like there are so many companies registered under Meva Mhlope. Nobandla didn't take off because SANGE SA, the department, was still busy. And it had a track record now. I even had a logo done for a department at the time, not even a division. Though it was kind of linked, so the logo corresponded to the events company's logo. So it kind of seemed like a child of that company. It seemed
like
to make sense.
And then this one.
Yes. So, yeah. So I think I'm there at the moment with some of the companies I started. Should I continue?
Well, so when you then take SANGE SA, or rather register SANGE SA as an independent entity, you then moved away completely from SANGE Events and Concepts?
Yes, so what then happened is a few years later, I then registered SANGE SA as a separate entity. With SANGE Event Concepts, I did a name change and a rebranding of the whole company. So SANGE Event Concepts then became Gobodo Labor Solutions, which is the HR and IR consulting company that I run with my husband, though he actually runs it. So, and that made sense. We kind of saw Gobodo Labor Solutions as it would kind of be a holding company at some point for all of these entities, which had been started by Nobandla Gobodo or Ufiwe Gobodo, whichever one it would be.
So the Gobodo Labor Solutions, is it still operating now?
Yes, it is.
Being run by Udata?
Yes.
Separately? Okay.
Yes.
And then what is it that you do within SANGE SA?
So SANGE SA, we are an accredited skills development provider. So we offer accredited training. But starting off, SANGE SA used to offer coaching and mentoring, which is my background in training. And we had a big focus on coaching and mentoring, and as well as tailor-made training solutions for our clients. This is before we became accredited. And then as an accredited company, we offer a learnership. So from your NKF level 1 up until your NKF level 5 qualification. And then we offer internships. We offer short skills programs, accredited, non-accredited. We also offer project management solutions, which is something that I found we do a lot, where we project manage a lot of training initiatives for other providers and other companies. And then SANGE later on then started moving into the triple BEE, skills development and employment equity consulting space, again based on my background and the work that I've done. And then possibly in the last 2 years we have been offering leadership development training, so from your emerging leaders up until your manager to leader. So those managers who are moving into the leadership space, they could be supervisors, team leaders.
Yeah, they need to be given the know-how.
Yes.
Whether it's theoretically so or even some sort of extra skill.
Yes.
Yeah.
So upskilling to bridge that gap, because a lot of the times we think people can manage or can lead, but that is a skill that not everyone is born with. So we then come in and bridge that gap and upskill. And then we have managers where at times you have people who've been in management for so long, but they aren't leaders.
Sure.
They can't think vision, they can't think what happens after 5 years or 10 years. They can't think what is the journey of Nobandla, who is my employee. What then happens with her career. So we then also assist with that. Sure.
So basically you are able to look at Ulinda from being a young lady who is driven and wants to run Kinako Media, but you help her grow from a certain point to a point where she can actually even be, because she's a media mogul.
Yes.
You would have played a role in ensuring that Ulinda is able to find or spread her wings in her management role.
Yes.
That's so beautiful to hear. Now, I want to hear this. Yazi, I often say this, Uguti, when we go on social media, as businesses or as individuals, and we are speaking about our businesses or we are advertising our businesses, I often get people saying to me, "You're doing so well, imali yangena," and I'm like, you know, what people see on social media and what actually happens in the background are two different things. And the challenges that we encounter and the lows and the days where you just don't want to wake up and the days where you're feeling discouraged, those are the things that the social media does not see. Social media sees the work you've done. Social media sees the pictures of you being at a huge training center and training leaders and managers, but they don't see when the 4 or 5 months have passed and you've not had any gigs. So I want you to perhaps then take us through moments where you felt, I think I want to close shop. I think I need to update my CV. I know I've updated my CV a couple of times. and perhaps share with us about days where you felt, man, maybe I didn't make the right decision being here.
Yes, so I think in my journey in business, I've had moments where I update my CV. I go back to corporate, but then I find that it's not fulfilling. I find that the days are long, the weeks are long, the months are long. It isn't me, it's not my space. I can add value in that space, but it's not enough. I need to be busy. And I think just 2020 for many companies, that was a tough one. It was very tough for myself. It was tough for this specific company, SANGE SA, where I thought I'm selling, and I had 3 possible sellers at the 3 possible buyers at the time, and I was really at a low because in training we were shut down. We couldn't do any face-to-face training, which is the bulk of the work that we were doing, and we had to just be on standby to hear what the minister has to say. So what is the update? So as much as the president can say this, what does the minister say? When can we go back? And I think just not even 2020, there have been other years and months where, you know, things are going well, then things aren't. And with training is a great business.
Yeah.
But it has a lot of highs and lows. It can also be a bit seasonal for certain training.
Okay.
At times you need to ensure you are catching corporate either when they are submitting their annual reports to the SETA, so their workplace skills plans. You need to be in there as part of the plan for the year.
You need to be strategic.
Yes, if you miss that, you then try again the next year. I've also said to people the sales cycle in training, it can be 12 to 18 months where you've been working the same company over and over again.
Sure.
And I think also the space that we play in a lot is corporate or private sector. We don't really play in the public sector space because we've been burnt, where payments take very long, and being an SMME, you need to survive. You don't know how you're going to pay people. You have material, you have venues that need to be paid, facilitators, assessors, moderators. There's just a lot. So
and now you have to wait for this invoice to
you have to wait for
in 3 months, in 4 months. Yeah.
And at times you are wondering, do I need to take a loan just so that I can manage these costs until that invoice is paid? And so we then moved away from that, as much as there could be big projects in that, but it wasn't worth it for us. It's very long to get in, and at times you find you're competing on price, which is not what we do. The work that we do is based on quality, so we spend a lot of time customizing solutions for our clients. Even the learnerships that we do, we are very selective about learners to place on the program, the value that this will have on the learner themselves, their family, the community that they come from, and also
because it shouldn't only be about we place this person there and then
it isn't about that. It also isn't about our clients saying, okay, we've spent what we needed to spend, but it's the journey of this learning.